Can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear you. Morning, folks. Hey, can you hear me? And can you hear Wayne? I can't hear Wayne. Oh, they can't hear Wayne. Doc? Okay. All right, folks. Welcome to the Wayne Dupree podcast. I am your co-host, Jason Robertson, here from Minnesota. That is snowing to beat. And this, folks, is why you want to go out and do early voting. Having a little bit of technical difficulty. Wayne Dupree is working hurriedly with our behind-the-scenes staff. Most people don't know he's got a bunch of little gremlins and stuff hanging out behind him that can go repair some of this technology stuff. We're broadcasting on Facebook, YouTube, my personal favorite, Rumble. And I got to give a shout out to the Rumble chat. Every day the last few months, the Rumble chat's been so active. It's been fun to see people engaging, talking with each other. It's been phenomenal. We also broadcast on RVM News, Red Voice Media, rvmnews.com. Check out their site. And then we work with Mike Lindell and the Frank Speech team, where they rebroadcast our stuff in the evenings, usually around 10 o'clock. So fantastic, fantastic stuff. Now, guys, we're going to go through a lot of stuff as soon as Wayne gets his audio figured out here. But here is, still can't hear you, Wayne. We can all mess with Wayne if we want. Here is the number one biggest thing that we need to talk about, that we need to cover, that we need to all realize. Everybody needs to get out and vote. Don't be discouraged. Don't be thrown off. Don't think, hey, I'm in a comfortable red state. No matter what else you get from today's broadcast, we're going to talk about some of the news. We're going to talk about things that are happening. But you need to get out and vote. You need to get your Trump-supporting friends, family, neighbors to get out and vote. No matter what else you get from today's broadcast, getting out and voting is going to be the single. Oh, hey, there he is.
Okay. All right.
Wayne Dupree. I'm just going on a get out and vote rant. I don't care if they listen to anything. And do us a favor, in the chat, type either I voted or when are you going to go vote? Because we need President Trump in the White House. We need it too big to rig. And we need a popular vote win so that the Republicans know not to derail them this time. Wayne Dupree, over to you.
Thank you, Jason. And welcome to everybody watching on Red Voice Media. Don't forget to check out rvmnews.com. And like Jason said, we also broadcast on Frank's Speech in the evening. So don't forget to check them out too. We're broadcasting out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, X, Rumble, Cozy, Getter, Cloud Hub, and Locals. We're broadcasting on many platforms. And election day is 6 days away. 6 days away from Honey, I'm Home. Black conservative.
I just love our chat.
Like Jason said, it's all come down to another election. Okay. A lot of information has been put out there. A lot of good information, a lot of bad information, a lot of truth, a lot of misinformation. So you have to put on your discernment caps. God gave everybody, he did, common sense. Now, some people choose not to use it. But for this audience, I am sure and I hope that you are going to use it. As a matter of fact, you're right. I just saw somebody type in Happy Halloween. Listen, this morning, Thriller came on the radio.
Nice.
And I have to tell you this. And I sat back and I listened to it, and I listened to the whole thing, you know, even with Vincent Price and everything. I was like, that song is genius.
Oh yeah.
Period. I mean, it was, I mean, just everything about it was just genius. And that it plays every Halloween, you know, type of deal, but it doesn't sound old. You know, it does. I mean, it sounds genius, you know.
Oh, and the music video. I mean, it's
yeah.
like it's a piece of art, man.
You had people. There was a jail in Sing Sing or Singapore or something like that, where thousands of people were in the yard and they learned how to do the Thriller dance. You know, they practiced it and then they did it as a video. But yeah, happy Halloween to those that don't always take it too seriously. And you know, I was thinking about it growing up. My mom, my dad, you know, took us out trick or treating and amongst the neighborhood. We didn't go too far. It was just within the neighborhood, our friends and stuff. It was cool. You know, it was fun. Okay, so back to the selection. Many of you probably have voted already. My daughter and I are probably going tonight. I was going to do it on election day, but she has class and stuff, so she wants to do the early voting. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll go ahead and do the early voting. But yeah, she plans on going tonight. This will be her first time voting. So I told her that I would go with her and, you know, show her the ropes, everything. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, that it's coming down to it. You know, these candidates are making their last speeches and the media's hanging on every word that they're saying. Period. Both of them. And if there's one thing that I think that we have learned in the last two elections, this election more than any, is the death of mainstream media when it comes to presidential elections. Because Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have decided that they weren't going to the mainstream media for their interviews. They start going to podcasts.
Yep.
And you can only imagine in the next 4 or 5 elections, you're probably going to have debates from your top podcasters. You know, your top podcasters are going to be doing the debates instead of mainstream media. But things are changing. Pandora's box is open, and you know, that's just the way it is. But with Pandora's box open, you always have to look at it as you are fighting against an enemy. The enemy has been the enemy for eons, which means the enemy is not going to just give up and walk away.
Yep.
It's not going to do it. Whether people believe it or not, whether some of these podcasters, some of these radio people get out here and say that we just need to defeat them, and you know, we get it. They're not going to stop, yo. They're not going to stop. So that means it's an ongoing thing. If you decide that you are going to take over, if you decide that you are going to upset the apple cart, you have got to have a plan to continue doing it until the end of time. Because if you don't, then the other side is going to jump right in and give them an inch and take a mile. They're going to jump right in. You know, all they need is a little sliver spot. All they need is a traitor from one side or the other side. That's it. That's all they need. But yeah, did you vote already?
I did not. I was gonna do early voting. I've gone back and forth. I would say don't do what I'm doing, which is voting election day. And Jen and I
was going to.
vote.
I wanted to.
I love to go out on
Yeah.
election day, but I'll give you an example. 2 days ago in Minnesota, I had to turn my air conditioning on because it was like 82 and humid. And now this morning it's snowing. We've got like a half an inch of snow and slush on the ground. And it's like, man, if anything could happen to disrupt going to vote on election day. So, I mean, I'm lucky our voting place is like 5 blocks from the house and whatnot. But yeah, I would say anybody who's going to go, who has an inkling of going to vote early, go vote early. Let's get them in the bank. Weird things are going to happen on election day. This has been the weirdest election cycle I've ever lived through from what's happened, the media coverage. Wayne touched on a great topic. No matter what you think about President Trump, he has completely changed the way people consume information in America. I mean, if you remember when he came down the escalator, like fake news was one of the first things he went after. Now people just don't believe it. Now, we still need to reach our Democrat neighbors because there's some over there, not a lot, but some that still believe the mainstream media that can be saved, that can be like, no, they're lying. This is stupid, that sort of thing. But we've made such inroads. I mean, the Republicans, we used to be brainwashed by the Republican Party and conservative media. And we would be, in 2014, we'd be the ones like, yeah, let's go attack Iran, and now we're the ones like, holy cow, let's like slow down the military industrial complex. President Trump woke us up, and we need him in office for 4 more years. We need to give him that second round, and it is going to be exponentially better than the first.
Yeah. So many big time, so many events that are going to be happening within the next couple of days. I also tweeted, posted out earlier. Don't forget, and I know this is hard for some people, but if you're just getting your information from Twitter, you're behind. You're behind. You have to go out and, I mean, there's nothing wrong with researching. You have to research because that's the only way that you're going to stay smart. That's the only way that you're going to, because if you only get your stuff from one source, they can manipulate you any way they need to. And that's what the Democrats did for like 40 years in being in control of Congress. They were able to change the nation almost to the point where it's even hard to get it back, but don't be lazy, and don't think that you're cheating on somebody just because you are going out to get information to make your own self smarter. People used to read a long time ago. People used to go to the library and read. Why? Because they wanted to research and get smarter. Same thing is with politics. The same things with culture. A lot of these endorsements and stuff. These endorsements aren't what they used to be. Endorsements really don't mean anything now, except for if you're on both sides of the aisle and you're using it as arrows against the other side. Well, we just got somebody that had 45 million followers. Well, we just got a couple people that equal your 45 million, and we're adding on another 13 million. So, right now it's noise. There's a lot of noise out there. It's a lot of noise, and you have to use the common sense that I said earlier for this election. You have to, and you have to use what's in your heart spiritually. You have to use that too. Okay. I mean, yeah, you have to use that too. You can't just throw that away. But there's a lot of news out there, Jay. It's a lot of stuff.
Coming fast and furious.
A lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff.
We could do a 3-hour show today and not even like scratch the surface.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff.
But once again, the number one most important thing we want everybody to learn on this show: get out and vote. Doesn't matter what state you're in, doesn't matter what city you're in. Get out and vote early, however you need to get it done. Like, we'll go through some stuff. We'll go through some things we're seeing in the news, but don't get distracted, folks. Get your vote banked. And I mean, right now, the early returns, you never know how these numbers are going to shake out. Right now, they're pretty encouraging. I think if you would have said, hey, here's how the numbers would be coming in on the early voting, most conservatives would have been pretty happy. I think there's some states in play. Minnesota, they're saying in play. I mean, guys that know Minnesota politics way better than I do, it's got a very active get out the vote activity in Minnesota. Hillary only won it by like 2% in 2016. They're saying they're looking at least that close. And I mean, what happens if Trump wins Minnesota? It sounds like Virginia, the returns are coming in where it could be close. Pennsylvania is going to be a crapshoot. There's 20 different ways to look at those numbers. So yeah, this is going to be one for the ages.
And we don't have the internals that the candidates have, but you can always tell if a candidate might not like their internals, because then they start, saying some things like, I don't think President Trump likes his internals in Pennsylvania. I really don't. For some reason, I really don't, because he wouldn't have came out publicly and talked about that they were trying to steal if he was up, and I wish I knew what was really going on in Pennsylvania. We're seeing all these things. We did have some good news from Virginia yesterday. But also, like Jason said, that he's seen some positive numbers from some stuff. I sent him something yesterday. I was like, "Did you see this?" Did you see this? We do know that a lot of women are voting. We do know that, and that seems like it's coming across from all polling that a lot of women are voting. So, we'll see where that goes with that. And yeah.
Well, and I guess to share a positive story coming out of Pennsylvania, we had talked about it on the show. It had gone wild on Twitter. And thank God for Twitter in this case, because they were closing down early voting stations. And it'd be like 2 p.m. There'd be a line around the block, and they'd say, "Oh, anybody behind this line, you're not going to be able to vote today." And they're like, "What do you mean? It's open until 5." The state of Pennsylvania actually extended early voting for a couple more days.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's huge. That would not have happened had Elon Musk not bought Twitter. Like, let's just be honest. And Twitter, you got to watch who you follow, what they say. Everybody's got an agenda. But that's one example of a win. Citizens got active. Citizens were recording. I think Pennsylvania last year or last election was one of the scammiest elections I've seen. So I think Trump's right to be concerned. I mean, they're going to have vans pulling up at 3 a.m, and it's going to be wild. So, but I think Trump's got a shot. I mean, he's connected with the people.
Yeah, he has a shot. He has a legit shot. What I don't like is that it shouldn't be this close.
Right.
And if it's this close, then I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of the year. They just needed to be close.
Right. Oh, yeah. Shenanigans.
And I don't know. For some reason, I just kept seeing it being, well, actually, it happens, like I said, when it comes down to the end of the middle of October, end of October, it's within the point of margin for ratings. Let's be honest. CNN and MSNBC numbers might be up for the next few days over the weekend, because they don't have any interviews, so they're going to be talking about who's up and who's down, and the point of margin, the margin of point. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be talking about that, and they're going to have all types of so-called experts on there, and I don't think it's meant to confuse. They just don't know, but they're trying to be the first to report on final numbers, or the first to report on something to shake things up.
Well,
So
I'll take a little different twist on this. You are watching the full fear and death of the uniparty, and this regime that has controlled America for our entire life. And we talk about it on the show. Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer are the same thing. They just get paid by different people. This regime has kept us under lock and chain for decades while they steal from the American people, while they go blow up another country, while the politicians enrich themselves. And Donald Trump came down that escalator and he woke us up. We were called MAGA, right? And we started seeing like, oh, the government's corrupt. And he even said it in his first debate. Hillary, you guys made all these rules. You're just mad I took advantage of them. If you don't like it, change the rules. And we're like, yeah, that's the guy we want. We want the guy who's going to go up there and who's going to shake up DC. And they tried everything they could in 2016 in the primaries, didn't work. In the general, didn't work. Remember how shocked everybody was that he won? Like, holy cow, how did this happen? And then they immediately started impeaching him and Russia, and convicting him. And then 2020, whatever you think of that election, we got to be careful on some of these platforms. Just a lot of weird things happened in 2020, and they expected him to go away. And he didn't. They said, okay, we're going to prosecute you. We're going to go after your businesses. We're going to go after your associates. We're going to lock up Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro. We're going to have guys, somehow got up on a building and take a shot at you. And you know what Trump said? Screw you. I'm going to still go to save America. And that's why this election is so important, because, I mean, if you would have told anybody 10 years ago that you'd have Liz Cheney and Bush's daughter campaigning with Kamala Harris, they would have called you nuts. But that is the uniparty, and then all these celebrities, every time I see one of these celebrities come out, it looks like a hostage video. I support Kamala Harris. She is the greatest ever. Please don't release the Diddy tapes on me. Okay, yeah, Kamala Harris is great. I mean, you are seeing this ruling class terrified of what's going to happen. And Trump, we haven't had the leaks. We haven't had the garbage this election. He has self-funded his transition team. So they're not going to be able to put all these rats in there. Anybody that stuck with Trump through this, he is setting up. I mean, he's talking about getting RFK Jr. cleaning up the food. He's got Elon cleaning up government waste. And he's got all these guys behind the scenes like Devin Nunes and Kash Patel that are just locked and loaded and ready. The regime will do anything to keep power from President Trump and from the American people. So that's why you buckle up, folks. It's going to be an exciting few days.
Yeah, exactly. For those that are out there, today's Thursday. If you have any questions, you can definitely ask. Is it Michigan that wouldn't take Kennedy? Well, Supreme Court came down the other day and said that a couple of states, his name is going to stay on the ballot. Supreme Court said it. They said that's going to hurt President Trump. The only way that it would is, if you diehard Kennedy supporters, the diehard that would vote for him no matter what he said, just like Haley, that Nikki Haley voters, which many people say were Democrats. And I believe me, I never said that they were Democrats. I saw them as Republicans. I didn't see them as Democrats. Now, I knew that there were some states where some Democrats were probably crossing over, but I still believe that there were some Republicans out there that wanted Nikki Haley to be the nominee. And even some of them have created a super PAC to raise money for Kamala Harris. So, but Michigan, I saw. Now, I don't want to. I know Jason said he saw some positive stuff. I saw she was up in Michigan by 4 points, 5 points. I saw that this morning. I was looking at it this morning. Elon is not in court right now. He skipped it. He's trying to get it moved to federal court based on what I just read. He's trying to get it moved to federal, and he possibly can get in trouble for that. Um, but the federal court has to hear it. Yeah, the federal court has to hear it though. Basically, he was absent from Pennsylvania court. He was ordered to attend over giving $1 million away to select voters. The lawyer Larry Krasner not only disputed the giveaway, but he was also going to the court about people from. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. People from X that were going after him because he was going after Elon Musk. So,
well, in the Elon case and a few things you talked about with the ballots really underscore the thing. At some point, when all this weird stuff or court things happen just one direction, you have nothing to assume but it's rigged. So, for example, every time you see a ballot that's misprinted, I saw somebody share a video in California. To get to President Trump, you had to like scroll down and hit the next page to get to Trump. RFK Jr. staying on the ballot, all these issues. It's never Harris that has the issue. With Elon Musk being, he's earned $1 million giveaway to sign his petition about the First and Second Amendment, and they're going after him. Now, how come they don't go after Soros or Bezos or Zuckerberg or any of these guys that gave money for election stuff? Just Elon. Okay. You look last night, Jimmy Kimmel.
I tell you why. Hold on. I tell you why. And I was thinking about it as you were formulating that, because the other ones do it behind the scenes. There's no public, there's no public trail. He just came out and said he's going to do it. And it's like, man, are you trying to hurt Trump or what? So I mean,
but I guess my point. I guess my point is, let me give you another example. Jimmy Kimmel last night on his show was talking about voting, get out early, and he's like, "Oh, unless you're a Trump voter, then you can vote on next week, Thursday or Friday. Get in there and vote." And Doug Mackey had done something like that, say, "Hey, text to vote," and the kid got thrown in jail. Like within a day of it happening, they raided his house. They went through all his bank records. They destroyed the kid's life. Jimmy Kimmel ain't nobody rolling up on. He's not going to issue a retraction. He's going to face no legal consequences. I mean, if you look, Bannon just got out for defying a congressional subpoena. How many Democrats have been subpoenaed? And not one of them are going to face charges. You just had, who is it that ignored the last one? I think it was Fannie Willis. So, no, we're not going up there. Yeah, she's not going to go to jail. I mean, when you see 10 out of 10 things go one direction, and maybe the first one you go, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. But by the time you get to the 10th one and you're like, all 10 go the same direction, like you just know. And like I say, it's not just Democrats. The machine in Washington wants to protect the machine in Washington. The bureaucrats are terrified that somebody's going to show up and say, hey, we have way too many people doing these jobs. We need to cut it back. I mean, like the machine is going to protect itself. That's what it does.
Well, if anybody from the Trump campaign or any Republican AG saw what you saw on Kimmel, then they should have been in court this morning.
That's my point.
I mean, right. They won't do it because it's easier to go after the little man who's posted on Twitter than to go after basically what you're saying, somebody that has a major television show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if Steve Bannon was a pretty big deal, they went after him.
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm just saying, I continue to see all these people going after from one side of the aisle. At some point, it's not a coincidence.
Well, then again, I mean, I have my own thing about contempt of court for Congress. I have my own thing about that because I think that Republicans dropped the ball on Eric Holder, and I would always wondered, could a person do what Bannon and Holder and Lerner? Because at a point, Lerner was doing the same thing that uh, uh, that Ben and the other guy was doing, she wasn't showing up either. And then all of a sudden, they threatened her with jail and whatnot, and then she showed up. But our side, we were like, they ain't gonna show up.
Well, that's because our side, whoever was Speaker of the House, I can't remember, was it Ryan or one of those clowns? They are not on our side. They are part of the Uniparty. They are protecting the Uniparty. All the congressional Republicans knew what was going on with Fast and Furious. Don't kid yourself. Like, they made a show of, we're going to go after it. But they knew what was going on. And if they wanted to, they could have done something about it. We've talked about Jim Jordan. I like Jim Jordan. He gives a great speech. He does zero. They hadn't prosecuted anybody. He's given some speeches, sent some memos. Nobody's gone to jail. And that's because he's just, he's putting up a pretend fight,
Pretend fight.
He is.
No. I mean, I haven't heard that since my younger days. Pretend fight. Like your pretend cousin, pretend fight.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there, and how many memos did we see? I mean, Joe Biden, I think there's been enough evidence to say, I mean, did you see that Catherine Heritage? I forget how to pronounce her name. She did a recap about the IRS whistleblower. She did an interview, and they're out there. They're like, yeah, it's Catherine Heritage or something like that. She's got the really short bob cut. She just got let go by one of the agencies. I was saying the thing, it was a 15-minute interview, and they're like, yeah, everybody knew the laptop was real. And I mean, these were the IRS agents, whistleblowers, and like, here's the documents, here's what we have. And oh yeah, it is Catherine Heritage. Thank you, Debbie. I mean, it's a phenomenal interview, and it should be front page news. It should be our intelligence agencies disrupted the 2020 election, because not only did they not comment on the Hunter Biden laptop, they came out and said, Russian disinformation. I mean, with the margin of victory in some of these states, you're telling me that doesn't swing 12,000 votes in Georgia? You're kidding me. You know what I mean? 12,000 people stay home, and like, oh, geez, this is sketchy. So, yeah.
Yeah. For those, let's see what else we got. We got it. Totally agree, Wayne. It shouldn't be this close. Yeah. Right now, what you have, and I know, some people say, and I know my co-host has said, we don't need any negatives. I hope people don't take what I say as negative. I hope people take what I say as Wayne is trying to at least keep everything level so that we can understand exactly what's going on. I hope people see it like that. I hope people don't think that I'm trying to be negative, because I just this closeness of it, and looking at some of the numbers outside of certain things, I just see I see a lot more men voting for a Republican nominee probably than any time in history. I see it. I see it coming down, but then I also see a larger number of women voting this election. And I don't know. Let me ask you this. Because we always talk about, we want to get government out of our lives, government out of our everyday lives and stuff like that. Okay. When it comes down to abortion, okay, what the Dems are saying is that, and even Kamala Harris is saying in her thing, we need to get we need to pass the abortion thing and get government back and get government out of women's reproductive right. But if you do that, you're incorporating government into the situation, right? Aren't you? Aren't you incorporating government into that argument? If you do the Roe versus Wade thing all over again, you're incorporating government back into the argument.
Abortion is one of the most amazing mind control, brain screws that's ever happened to the American people. Fact of the matter is, most people agree third trimester abortions are bad, right? I think even most of your liberals, that's why they'll never fess up to it, because they know when you say, yeah, in the third month or the third trimester, you can kill. You see information stats on it. Everybody agrees. I think most Americans agree birth control, morning after pill, first couple weeks, not really an issue, right? I don't think I'm pro-life. And if you said, hey, we're going to set it at 3 weeks, I can live with that. You know what I mean? I don't like it. I don't feel morally good about it, but I think the vast majority of Americans could say that's an effective compromise. So you're talking about when it becomes a life, that kind of thing. Everybody spends so much energy talking about this topic.
Mhm.
I mean, I wish they just set it at 12 weeks and move on. Hey, we can all agree third trimester shouldn't be done. Let's set it between 6 and 12 weeks and move on, because at some point you have to concede that's a baby. But what they've done to women in a larger scale is ridiculous. I mean, they train women from an early age that if you want to go get married, be a homemaker, take care of your husband and your kids, you're somehow bad. It's somehow less than you should go work some $70,000 a year job in some ad agency that they freaking hate you. And like, how did we do that to women? Like, and how did we do it to men where your job is to go bang a bunch of chicks instead of finding one great one and treating her like a queen and taking care of her and providing for her while she raises your family? Like, complete destruction of the American house. And I mean, if you look at the women voting, we have a lot of traditional conservative women in our chat that they like being women. They like a man holding the door open for them. They if some scary guy comes up, they want their man to step in front and go, hold on.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. My wife made me breakfast today. That was the greatest thing ever. Like, Jen's a great cook. I love, she likes cooking for me. Like, God love her. But meanwhile, I'm the one who's gonna have to go shovel the snow. Like, that's the deal. We get that.
Is it
And I
snowing?
mean,
Is it snowing where you are?
it is literally snowing in Minnesota.
Really?
2
Oh,
days ago, I had my air conditioning on, and then now today it's furnace, and it's only about a half inch or an inch of slushy snow.
wow.
But I mean, back to the women determine the vote thing. I feel just terrible for what we've done to women in this country. Like, it's 100% okay. It's actually better if you want to be a homemaker, take care of kids and grandkids. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, you just said you feel bad for what they've did to women. I feel bad for what they've done to men in this country.
Oh,
But
100%.
you know what I'm saying? Because this movement to what's the word that came up? Masculine
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah. What the heck, man? I mean,
Right.
a man is a man is a man, y'all. And I mean, come on. I'm trying to pussify men and stuff to pacify your needs that you can do what men can do. Somebody told me I was watching Bill Burr talk about, really? Women can do what men can do? Really? I haven't seen a woman on a rooftop in the summer in 180, I mean, in 105-degree heat with the sun banging down, laying down shingles.
Well, and I gotta say, men and women are different, and that's
They are
completely
different.
okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like women, like my wife, when it comes to things in our relationship, if it's something about like we need to talk somebody through their feelings, yeah, I'm not the guy to do that,
Yeah.
But if it comes down to like, hey, I need something fixed, okay, hook me up. They're like, I need a problem solved. Okay, I can do that. I need to plan a baby shower. Not so much. And that's completely okay. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
What's that? What's that old men are from Mars, women are from Venus? That
Yes.
thing.
Well, and I gotta say, gaming too long, hopping in on the Rumble chat. It's peaceful. He's living without women. I'm just gonna say, you just haven't found the right one.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I got 2 ex-wives. I picked wrong twice. I just
Well,
keep swinging. So
well, I gotta give it to gaming though. I mean, my kids worry about me, but my house is my house. I can do whatever I want to do with my house. I don't have to answer or do
I'm
I
just
want
saying, and
to?
those who are in a good relationship can let me know in the chat. When you get the right one, it's like 2 halves to a whole. You don't like, and we'll have the single guys who'll say, "Oh no, I
And
was
look,
that guy for a while."
to all of you men out there, all of you women, close your ears for a second. To all of you men out there to get that question, do I look fat? You know how you answer that, right? Do you feel fat? Never say yes or no. Just turn it back into a question and send it right back to her. Okay. All right. That's how you do that. Plus, you can always have her go in there and make you a chicken pot pie. You know. Yeah. Let's see, every house is a man's cave of peace. That's right. OpenAI launches Chat GPT search competing with Google and Perplexity. Listen, I did want to talk about this really quick. Oh, wait. Look at this. Look, Debbie has a roommate. He's a man.
Right,
He's a man.
right. I gotta say though, Juanita, 46 years until he passed away. That's so
Oh,
sad, Juanita.
oh.
Sep, happily married here.
44.
Stephen Dodd,
Yeah,
44
44 years.
years.
Yeah.
Giddy up.
They don't make them like that no more.
Right.
I wonder. I wonder if the beds are like Lucy and Desi, separate beds. It's just something that I used to see when I was growing up. So.
Well, it's funny you say that because Jen and I, like, my snoring's getting bad as I get older, and she's like, she started sleeping in the spare bedroom at night. I'm like, oh man, are we that couple? Are we Archie and Edith? Like,
You wake up. I must have been snoring. There's some news about Gen Z and millennials, and our side really hasn't been talking about it too much. But over the last couple of days, I've been looking at some numbers, and it looks like they're voting.
yeah,
It really looks like they are voting this time, and it looks like they are coming out in huge numbers. But you know what? They're doing something that we used to do when we were growing up. Maybe not you, because you're still a baby. But when people used to ask us who we were going to vote for and stuff, we didn't say. We really didn't say. We kept. I mean, because it was a personal type of thing. We didn't get out there like like now. If you look on Twitter, they do videos. Oh, I voted for such and such. So they get clicks and they get shares and stuff like that. Back in the day, people didn't really just go around saying, "Who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for? Who'd you vote for?" It was a personal type of thing, but it looks like Gen Z and millennials right now make up nearly half of the eligible voting population, including 41 members, 41 million members. Data for Progress surveyed 773 likely voters aged 18 to 29. My daughter's 21, but they didn't survey her. And they are enthusiastic about the 2024 election and believe voting is an effective means to create change. But they're doing something that we haven't seen in a long time. They are lying about they're lying to pollsters, and they're lying to these people collecting data because they're trying to keep their choice personal to themselves. So oh well, it also says around 2 in 3 young voters support implementing Medicare for all and a Green New Deal. Um, but
See, Medicare for All and Green New Deal are the exact type of programs that young voters think are a great idea until you get out in the real world and start paying bills. The fact of the matter is, any of those sorts of programs, when you get the government involved, it fails. The Green New
exactly right,
Deal.
right.
I mean, cheap energy is the foundation of society. I mean, if you had to say like one thing that makes it so that we can have the excesses we have, is cheap energy. And when you restrict energy, all of a sudden you're pushing it over to other countries to produce, which hurts America. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway.
Daniel says, anybody notice DeSantis says no to Amendment 3 and Trump and the Florida sheriffs saying vote yes? That's not the abortion one. That's not the abortion amendment. Daniel, which one is Amendment 3 in Florida?
It's the marijuana one.
Oh yeah. Well, I heard that one was going to pass.
Yeah, it will.
I heard that one was going to pass.
I hate to say it. I think marijuana will become legal federally, even if Trump wins.
Yeah.
And I think we'll look back on it in 20 years, kind of like some of Reagan's decisions.
That's where everything hit the pot.
What's that?
That's where everything went to pot 20 years ago. Went federal. Everything went to pot.
Right. Well, yeah. And I mean, some of these things like Reagan, he did a couple, 2-3 big things, like the mass amnesty. I mean, it just made California blue forever, and the no-fault divorce probably wasn't good for society. Just saying.
Is it dangerous to have this many? I mean, honestly, you really want to hear from the youth. You really want to hear from the youth. Actually, the country should be in the youth's hands. To tell you the truth, to be honest, it should be in the youth's hands, because when we were younger, the country should have been in our hands. That's the only way because what's the old thing? Old men dream dreams, but young men see visions. Or young people are built to move things. They have the Donald Trump makes vow to women against advice of campaign.
Did you see that last night at his thing?
No, I didn't watch it. I fell asleep.
It was phenomenal. He had his garbage man vest on.
I saw
and
that.
He was talking about, I'm going to protect women, and we're going to protect them from illegal immigrants, from crime, and competing in your sports. And he's like, my advisors tell me not to talk about it like this, but it's the role of us to make sure that women are safe in our society. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. There's a lot at stake in this upcoming election, but regardless of who is sitting in the White House, the fuse, get that thing out. The fuse on the economy has already been lit. Even 4 years of conservative presidency will not be enough to turn the tide. Are now how much?
35,843,366,000,000 going up every second.
National debt. And if the left wins, it's like throwing gas on a dumpster fire. You don't have too much control over the election's outcome, but what you can do now is protect your savings by diversifying into gold with the help of Birch Gold Group. For millennia, gold has stood firm in the face of greedy governments, economic upheavals, and global strife. And it can now protect you. Birch Gold Group will help you convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in physical gold. So text the word Wayne to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold, and trust Birch Gold Group to protect your savings. Again, text Wayne to the number 989898 and get your free info kit on gold. You are you're out on Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
No, I'll actually be around.
Okay.
I was looking at going, but not everybody could make it, yourself included. So I'm like, it's not going to be as much fun.
Oh,
I tried inviting Wayne. I got invited to this election thing, and it's kind of cool. There's going to be some cool people there. And I'm like, oh, this would be great because Wayne and I don't hang out in person, ever really. And I'm
we
like, this
will.
would be
We
a
will.
great excuse. We'll go to
Yeah.
Florida. We'll hang out in an election party.
Yeah, we will. We probably have some things coming up next year. Maybe we might get to CPAC in
Giddy up.
February or March. So
We'll attend Trump's first impeachment hearing if Democrats win the House.
yeah. But man, we knew we knew this was gonna be something. So there we go. We knew that this election was gonna be different from everything else. We have seen quiet October surprises over the last couple of weeks, but they haven't been the major October surprise that usually curtails or takes down some. Did you see Kamala Harris was on was in DC the other night. From what I read, the numbers got up to about 75,000 people that were there.
Yeah, I don't know if you follow Tony Segura. He's an old intelligence agency guy, and he actually has been geo-tracking the cell phones that attend the rallies. And it was about 75,000 people total. It was, I think, 16,000 from the Atlanta area. And it was broken out. It looks like it was about 30, 40,000 in DC. And I got to say, Kamala Harris hosting a rally in DC, that might have been her first rally that people didn't attend because they were, wanting to see Beyonce or something. I mean, I think that one was legit because all those bureaucrats in DC, the vote percentage, it's always like 90% for the Democrat. It's going to be like 98 because those guys are terrified if Trump wins. He's going to go in and clean house.
One thing that I was thinking about when I saw that, I didn't watch it. I just read the thing on it. But I was like, it was kind of cold at night for them to be there at night outside like that. That's kind of cold. That's a lot. I don't know what you mean by why the comments disabled.
Yeah, I don't see any comments disabled.
Yeah.
Kev, he's also a Tony Segura phone stats. Yeah, if you aren't following Tony Segura on Twitter, it's like a fascinating follow because at all the rallies, he'll break down like where people are from and whatnot. And it seems fairly legit, but
what is this big thing about Mike Johnson? He said, I saw a video where he said that there was a secret about what they were going to do. And then President Trump, when they were in New York, said there was a secret about what we were going to do. But now it looks like the campaign is pushing back against that. Is that right? What?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the talk was behind the scenes between him and Johnson. They both hinted at something. And now the media is trying to run with the story where Johnson says they're going to do away with Obamacare and eliminate pre-existing conditions. And they're saying that's the big surprise.
Whoa. Johnson said that?
It was taken out of context. Somebody had asked him about redoing healthcare. What's Trump's health plan? And he had said something like Obamacare is failing, which it is. I mean, it's not working well at all. And they're clipping that out of context, saying like, oh, the first thing they're going to do is repeal Obamacare. Trump's not going to do that, folks.
No.
Pre-existing conditions. I don't see that going away.
Yeah, he's changed on that. I mean, and honestly, I really thought, and it was, Jason, I really thought that they were going to get rid of it.
They should have.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to get rid of it. But when they were passing it, even though I really thought they were going to get rid of it, when they were passing Obamacare, you would hear the voices in the background saying, once they pass it, they'll never get rid of it. I used to hear that, but listening to Republicans, it always gave us hope that they would get rid of it. And because of it was forcing people to get off of their plans that they love so much and get on this. One thing I hate as a VA recipient is that the VA falls under Obamacare. I'm like, that's not right. That's not. I mean, we should never have. They shouldn't have did that, and they probably did it because they wanted the numbers. They probably did that so they could load up all the veterans and stuff. And okay, you had this group, and then you put the Medicare people, you put them under that group, and then those tentacles grab on, and then they clutch to that. But I really thought they were going to get rid of it, and President Trump said no, but we're going to change it.
And that's a great example too of how the Uniparty exists. The Uniparty loves Obamacare. They all get kickbacks from all these providers,
Yes, they do.
from the medical industry, and they know Republicans can act like they want to appeal Obamacare. Establishment Republicans, Democrats can act like they want to keep it, and they really do. The truth is, both sides want to keep it, and the industries know they only need to get a handful of Republicans to flip like McCain did. So it's. For them, it's like, let them pretend fighting over Obamacare, and the establishment's never going to get rid of it. They love government involved in things like healthcare. Are you kidding me? How much? And it was funny. So I had a contractor over. We're getting our bathroom redone, and he said, it's been a project since I bought the house. I want to do. We saved up some money, and but anyways, he was just talking, and he's like, all these politicians, they go up there and they make like $170,000 a year, but then they're worth like $6 million after.
I know, yeah.
And it's like it all comes from all this money flowing in. And he, I believe, votes Democrat. I don't think he's voting Kamala in this one, but he's like, this is just ridiculous. This whole political system's corrupt.
It is. Yeah, we need. We need. I think we need young people to go in there with a wrecking ball. I don't know if anybody of the old way is going to take down the establishment. I think the young people need to do it. I really do. They get to fight for it. You got a whole lot of these old people that are corrupt and who have been corrupted by the money and corrupted by the lobbyists and corrupted by the DC part and everything. Again, you can always shut down DC for about a year or 2 years. Keep it running on a skeleton crew for national defense and a couple other things. But you take all those people out of there, stop giving billions of dollars to all these other countries. It's
be a whole new world.
We beat down the country, and then we get them billions of dollars to build it back up. I used to read stuff like that. I'm like, do we do that?
We really do.
We give them billions and billions and billions to build itself back up. And then we go and find freedom fighters and teach them how to fight, give them weapons and stuff. And then in 20 years, we're fighting them with our weapons. They're using our weapons back against us. And in some ways, they're defeating us. And it's like, God. Oh. All right. Jason, I'm going to ask you for some last thoughts again. Today is our last day of the week. We're 6 days out. Monday, we will be back the day before the election. And Tuesday is election day. So we're going to be broadcasting on Tuesday afternoon. Well, yeah, Tuesday at 12. Yeah, Tuesday at 12. That's it. Yeah. Right, Jason? Tuesday at 12.
Yeah, Tuesday. I think the date's the 12th.
Yeah.
No. Next Tuesday is the 5th.
Yeah, election day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be broadcasting on Monday and then broadcasting on Tuesday, which is right. All right. Jason, give me some last thoughts. Congratulations to the Dodgers. They kicked tail. I watched that inning where they came back. I just happened to turn it on when they were down 5-0, and then they scored 5 runs in that inning. I was like, "Oh, this is over. This is over." But yeah, congratulations to the LA Dodgers. Jason, go.
All right. 3 thoughts, actually. And shout out to Candace. She actually pointed out one of them. Unreported news. Paul Pelosi's attacker got a life sentence. That's what happens when you attack a Democrats. Google what happened to Steve Scalise's shooter.
That shocked me. That shocked me. He got a life sentence.
Don't go after the machine, folks. I don't know. Like, and Paul Pelosi, he's not a MAGA guy, but it's like you attack somebody in that circle. This is what's going to happen to you. That's thought one. Thought two, I got the smartest wife ever. We were talking this morning, and she's like, why does everything on the Democrat platform boil down to you want no personal accountability? I'm like, I couldn't have said it better myself. Like every single thing from your student loans to the baby you created. She's like, my parents told me when I was young, if I got knocked up, I'd have to take care of that baby. And like, I understood that. And I'm like, God, I married the right wife. Third thought, last thought, vote. Get your friends, get your family, get your neighbor. Don't get distracted. Don't just vote. Get out there and vote. Get everybody you know to vote. We need it too big to rig. On that, see y'all Monday.
See y'all on Monday. God bless.
God bless.